What's good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason and the Ronnie Brown. I'm back here for another one with your boy, the Jason Taylor to my Zach Thomas, EM Dolphin fan. What's good, homie?
Man, what's good? What's good, homie? Hope everything is good with you up there in Canada, bro.
Bro, it's a sunny day today, bro. It
I hear
is
you.
a nice day up north. We don't live in
It's kind
igloos like some people might think, bro.
I hear you, man. It's kind of down here in Dallas, Fort Worth, bro. It's kind of partly cloudy, kind of off and on all day, but still a good day, nonetheless. Fins Nation, what's good? Let's get it.
People
Let's get into this.
reckless out here though with that COVID, like masks. Like I know how people on social media and throughout the US are making a big deal about, wear the mask. Bro, people out here, it is not even an issue. They are living their life, bro. Like it's just another
Yeah.
day.
I hear you. Same here, bro.
So I mean,
Same here.
I don't know. It's just another, and I guess because of where I'm at specifically, we didn't have a ton of cases, nothing like 9,000 in a day like Florida a couple days ago, right? Like that's craziness.
They're threatening to shut down Texas again, bro. I know Austin's been shut down till August, and where I'm at, bro, they're threatening to shut things down again for a while, get it under control. So,
well, no, the scary thing is, bro, is there going to be a third wave? Like you got to ask,
right?
That, you know what I mean?
No.
Yeah, let's shout out some people though before we keep going, because I see people starting to show up in the. So what up, FSU baby? What up, Vickin? What's going on, Infinite Trauma? DY.
Havoc, what's good, homie?
Troy Hicks, what's good? Rhino, what's good, homie? El
What's
Reason,
good, bro?
what's good? King Corner, what's good, homie? Yeah, man, I don't know, bro. Like that's the worst thing. If a third wave comes, then you got to wonder about football, because now you're starting to see athletes get legitimately caught up into this, But what's crazy is, like I told you, because like I said, I follow hockey pretty closely too. I mean, me and you off screen have talked about my ties to hockey and stuff like that. If there was a bigger market for it on YouTube, I would definitely do a hockey channel. But I mean, it just doesn't exist. Anyways, that being said, the whole Tampa Bay Lightning, basically facilities got shut down. Like the team, most of the team, most of the staff I was in the facilities tested positive, and the commissioner said we're still going to go through with basically opening up training camp in July and getting back to things going in August. So that didn't even phase them, bro. Like didn't even phase them, and that's like me and you talk about. That's the fourth largest earner if you're going to go about the four major sports, and they don't even come close to the other three. So what do you think the other major three who got real legitimate? I mean, we talked about they had a revenue of $19 billion last year, the NFL, right? And when you actually break down the numbers, ticket attendance was only $3 billion of that revenue. So that's $16 billion, even without fans in the stands that's on the table. You really think they're going to leave that? And like I told EM guys, I didn't have the article. I don't have it posted, but I did see somewhere. It was on ESPN or something like that, and they were talking about how basically a source inside the NFL was saying that they are putting so much money right now into figuring out proper protocols, how to basically run a season amongst this pandemic. And the source said this is going to happen. So I'm just trying to remember what I saw it on. I'm pretty sure it was ESPN. I told you about this 2 days ago, right, Ian? Remember we had that conversation? Yeah. It's obviously feasible because you're talking about the revenue streams are crazy for them. So they have access to resources that, even the NBA and the MLB don't have access to. I mean, they are the gold standard for a reason, right? Whether you want to like how they're ran or not.
No doubt. The NFL, they've got obligations, bro. They just signed those TV deals, bro. They can weather the storm as far as the revenue that's lost on the, at the door. But that TV money, that's the big revenue. And obviously they're not willing to. And I don't. Well, as long as it's long as they have a structure in place to where nobody's health is in jeopardy, I'm all for it. So yeah, they're hell bent on having that season, and nothing is going to derail that train, which is a good thing for us because
you just got to create a ridiculous bubble, bro.
Yeah. And we need all the positivity and positive distractions we can get at this point in time. Everybody in the world, not just this country, but the world in general. So I see we have the NBA coming, July 30th, I think, July 31st, and that's a good thing, bro. So at least we're getting back to some sense of normalcy in the midst of this whole storm, bro. We just have to, follow proper safety procedures and keep social distancing and, and just roll with it until things improve, bro, in terms of like a vaccine or they can treat this virus better than what they have been. So,
dude, I'll tell you right now, bro, like my physical bubble is basically my immediate family because of my daughter and like my mother and my stepfather, and then my wife's sister and her brother and her brother-in-law and the two kids, and then my best friend, his wife, and their daughter. So my bubble's like 10 to 12 people.
Yeah.
Other than that, it is what it is, man. Like that's how I've been moving for a while now. You know what I mean? So
same here, and we keep it family, and our extended family, they keep it, they simplify everything as well. So that's the best thing to do as of right now, because it's definitely nothing to play with, bro. You know what I mean? And so I'm just blessed that I'm in a business to where as you know, I'm just blessed to be in a business where I'm not around people. You know what I mean? So we've just been blessed that we haven't been affected directly by it like a lot of people have. Like I think I told you, we talked about this before. Like my neighbor, she had gotten sick, and I hadn't heard anything else about that. Strange, but she was like maybe three homes down, and she had gotten sick, and so but we've just been blessed, bro. We haven't been affected directly, by it, and but everybody within our circle, bro, they're just maintaining that safety, and that seems to be the best course of action right now. So
well, that's what I wanted to tell you, because I was at that family thing earlier. Well, how I told you how my wife's family has family and friends in Sugar Land out there, right? Well, they also have family and friends in Houston, and a close family friend who's a diabetic just got diagnosed, tested positive for it, bro. So diabetic, dude, he's in his late 60s and he's a diabetic. Like that is not a good recipe.
It's not.
Like we're praying for him, but I mean that is not, that's crazy that the world's come to this, man.
And like I told you, I've got close family members that are diabetics. They're they're kids though, but they're diabetics, and it's nothing to play with. We don't take any kind of chances with them, bro. And so it's definitely nothing to play with, bro. I just don't see how people are just taking this thing lightly. They're just acting like this virus is not a real thing. But I just encourage everybody, just stay safe out there, man. It's a storm. We are in the midst of a storm, bro, but it'll pass eventually. But we just have to act accordingly.
For sure.
Until and such. So good.
Preach, brother. All right, man. On a more, I guess some of these stories are positive, you could say, other than paint the Dolphins in a negative light. I guess let's hop right into it, bro.
Let's do that.
Shout out to everyone who's joining the stream too, because I see
absolutely. I see everybody coming in.
Bluff and everyone else who's been coming in too. Shout out to y'all who are joining the stream right now. KA all day. I see all y'all. Shake Money's here now. What up, homie? Glad you could stay awake for one. Shout out to everyone.
Shake. What's good, homie?
So, bro, CBS been rifling off the top 10s like they were us when we started our channel in the midst of draft season. And let's get off that. And their new top 10 list, bro. It's not really favorable, bro. And it's crazy how it's not, because not only did we not make this top 10 list, but the Denver Broncos didn't even make this top 10 list. And that's right now CBS Sports top 10 best off seasons. And they have the Buccaneers at 1, the Arizona Cardinals at 2, the Ravens at 3, the 49ers at 4, Browns at 5, the Jets at 6, the Raiders at 7, the Saints at 8, the Chargers at 9, and the Colts at 10. But, bro, hold on a sec. On our top 10 list with the best corners in the league, didn't we acquire one of the top 10 corners in the league? Shouldn't that automatically put us on this list? I mean, that alone should put us at like 10. I'm wondering, considering that offseason move alone gave us, by their top 10 standards of quarterback, the best top 10 tandem in the league, because we were the only team with 2 corners on that top 10 list, and that offseason move gave us that ability to say that and put that on the field. So how do we not make this? And, bro, I've been saying since we dropped the schedule, people sleeping on the Denver Broncos, Drew Lock. I've talked about how they added KJ Hamler, Jerry Jeudy. They're stacked, bro. I think they're going to surprise people if Drew Lock continues the trajectory he was showing when he took over the reins last year. They're going to be in really good shape, because the game didn't look like, we talk about game speed all the time, EM, and it was one of those guys where he came in and the game didn't look too fast for him. You know what I mean? So I think that's why he looked comfortable right away. But anyways, that being said, us and the Broncos, to me, had arguably the 2 best off seasons. How does neither one of these teams make this list, bro?
The Indianapolis Colts, number 10.
For
what did they do this off?
Rivers and Xavier Rhodes.
I know, right? Both of them are on the downside of their careers.
For real? Xavier,
both of them
over Byron Jones gets you on this list.
I don't get it, bro.
Dude, we had Matt Breida, Jordan Howard. You want to talk about just veterans? Let's go just veterans. Kyle Van Noy, Matt Breida, Jordan Howard, Emmanuel Ogbah, Shaq Lawson, Byron Jones. I'm not even naming I don't even have to touch the draft, and that should put us over the Indianapolis Colts. Like, bro, I tell you, up here we got the good. What do they got down there, wherever CBS headquarters are? Because I need that, bro.
I agree, homie. I agree. In the past, like players that come from, the players that come from New England, they generally don't get a lot of like national praise, because you don't see a lot of their players. They don't amass a lot of individual statistics within New England's scheme, right? So with Kyle Van Noy, again, I don't agree with it, but a lot, for some reason, those players that come from New England, like and it's happened in the past as well. Again, like I said, they don't amass a lot of individual statistics, especially in particular on the defensive end. So they don't get a lot of national praise, bro. Because again, what did we talk about before? What the national media, in general, in the the casual fans, all they look at for the most part are statistics. They don't dig any further than sacks and tackles. You know what I mean? They don't dig any further into analytics, or they don't take into consider teams' schemes that they deploy and how that player is going to fit within that scheme whenever they go from New England to another team. So again, they don't value. They're looking at things always from a statistical standpoint. So with that being said, I can somewhat understand why they don't give the Dolphins, like a player like Kyle Van Noy, for that reason, they don't get that much praise. Same with Shaq Lawson is another player, and as well as Emmanuel Ogbah. Again, I don't agree with it, but I'm just going by how, from what I've seen from different players that come from New England, or not just New England, but, players like a Shaq Lawson or Emmanuel Ogbah that are like not household names, quote unquote. They haven't like made multiple Pro Bowls or anything like that. So again, statistics. They look at things from a statistical standpoint. So again, they're not taking into account how that player is going to fit in that team.
Read the Jets right up here, bro, because again, it shows kind of where we're at. We gave the Jets. We'll get into it here. When you see Greg Van Roten, Connor McGovern, George Fant, they have the right tackle figured out with George Fant. But let's remember, he's a backup coming from Seattle. Greg Van Roten, we talked about, we loved him. Connor McGovern from Denver loved him. So we agreed that they built the interior. They drafted Mekhi Becton at 11, who was one of your favorite tackles in the draft and who was one of my top 5 tackles in the draft. So I get that. But if that can make them make the list, then Ted Karras, Austin Jackson, Solomon Kinley, Robert Hunt, all the players I just named on defense. I mean, yeah, they upgraded their interior in New York, but look what we did defensively. The only position they're better at is because they drafted Ashton Davis and because they have an all-pro safety already there. That's why they gave them the nod, basically, at the safety position. Other than that, we have them obliterated on defensive depth. I mean,
I agree.
We did that through the offseason, the majority of that.
Right. I agree, but again, like I said, in terms of when they
give them George Fant, Greg Van Roten, Connor McGovern, then I don't want to hear about. I get what you're saying with stats, with like interception, sacks and stuff. I ain't trying to hear it when that gets the Jets to those 3 moves and Mekhi Becton get the Jets to the number 6 spot.
That is crazy.
Are you kidding me, bro?
That's crazy. I agree. But I get it. I'm just saying. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying that's how traditionally when they grade teams, these media outlets like CBS, and they only look at things from a statistical standpoint. So I don't pay any attention to these preseason rankings and off-season rankings, bro.
But honestly, it's crazy when you read the top 3. Now, do I agree with the order? No. But like in terms of, I think us and Denver had the best seasons, but after us, I think the Buccaneers, you can make a strong argument. I think the Arizona Cardinals, again, you can make a strong argument. And the Baltimore Ravens absolutely killed their draft, and they brought back guys like Judon, and they added Calais Campbell. So I agree. Like those top 3, you read that, I agree. San Francisco, you go to San Francisco, okay, you traded DeForest Buckner, but what? You got back Javon Kinlaw. I think that's another way. You went out and got, I think what's crazy is I agree with Dante. Dante said he believes Brandon Ayuk would have probably not been that great in any other system, but he fits perfectly with what the brand. I agree with that 107%. Your brother is a San Francisco fan. He probably loves that pick because Brandon Ayuk does fit what you're doing out there. So I agree. San Francisco, I would put them on the list. But the fact that, Cleveland Browns, again, Jack Conklin, Jedrick Wills, I'll put them on the list. New York Jets, bro, that at 6, bro, with you stack up what they did against us, man. Come on. I don't think that's I don't think that, dude, what was this done in 5 minutes, bro?
Yeah.
Again,
yeah. Crazy. I don't agree with it. But yeah, I was just talking about from a free agency standpoint, but I didn't even touch on the draft yet.
Yeah.
But again, a lot of people, and I hate, I don't hate it, but I know a lot of people in our fan base hate the consistent New England Patriots comparisons. But that's, again, Brian Flores came from there. He was there for 15 years. A lot of people don't like how the Patriots, a lot of their drafts, because again, they draft primarily they come from a scheme fit. It's like everything is about scheme fits with the New England Patriots. And if you're going by the players that we selected in free agency as well as the draft, it was 100% scheme specific. And again, the national media and the casual fans, they don't necessarily, when they're grading, when they're grading off seasons from a free agency perspective and a draft, the national media, like if you go back to the draft, and I think some people gave us, I think the highest grade that we received.
You good, bro? EM, Dolphin fan. I think our boy EM has froze out, guys. Let me know in the comment section. Is it me or has EM frozen out? EM is out, they say. All right, brother. So, yeah, I kind of agree with what EM was saying there in terms of, people aren't, a lot of people, even Dante's kind of talked about this, right? Like when he does his draft, even though he is a Dolphins fan, he doesn't look kind of through the lens of how the Dolphins would schematically when he makes his pick. He kind of goes with BPA. And I think that's what a lot of these people do. We can't give them the credit that they're going to do the kind of research that we're going to do in terms of how these guys are going to be a schematic fit, et cetera, et cetera. And, when you look at, Eric, EM's talked about it multiple times. You look at Eric Flowers and even Solomon McKinley kind of fits this too. The more phone booth guys, you're not going to expect them to get out in open space. And that's kind of how it looks like we're building our interior, right? More phone booth, power guys. You're not going to really look for them to get to the second level. I think that's one of the reasons why they really do want to try Robert Hunt at right tackle, because he's shown that ability at tackle, albeit against lesser competition, to consistently, not just randomly, but consistently get to that next level, that second level. And, they want to see that out of Austin Jackson. They're hoping that his athleticism is going to give him that ability to kind of glide, like a figure skater on skates, just, glide to his sets, pass sets, or run sets. And then, if need be, get to that second level because he's big, he's athletic enough, he's got the power behind him, et cetera, et cetera. So I agree with what EM's saying. We talked about, Byron Jones. Maybe people are looking at Byron Jones with, he doesn't have that very many interceptions, whereas what did me and EM tell everyone, on both platforms as soon as we got him? He's a scheme fit. His tackling ability alone makes him a scheme fit. He fits with what they want to do. What do they want to do? They want to create tight windows. And if you beat them into those tight windows, because they mainly run press man, so you want to create those tight windows with man. And if you get beat in that man, they want you taken down immediately. No yak, no nothing. If you beat us in the tight window, you don't get extra yards. You go down. And Byron Jones is literally the definition of that. So that's what they're trying to do. That's where they're at. EM, what's good, homie? Continue your thoughts, bro.
Damn, bro. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, you froze out, bro.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good.
We good now? Okay.
Yeah, so go on about how the media basically, I kind of went off of you how they don't do the research we do. Even Dante has talked about how when he did his drafts, he just kind of went BPA, right? He didn't draft
exactly.
because he was doing so many teams, right? You just got to go BPA at that point, right?
They look through the lens of they look through the scope of the NFL. They don't look at these. They don't look through the same scope of individual teams. So with that being, they just they don't take into consideration the schemes. You know what I mean? That teams deploy when they're evaluating off seasons and drafts. And so for that reason, I found like I said, history has shown us when they come out with these, these off-season rankings and free agency rankings and draft rankings, they always come from a statistical, a statistical perspective when they're grading, when they're giving these teams overall grades. So again, I think it's encouraging that every move that we made, not one in free agency or the draft, when I evaluated the players that we acquired, it is not one player that we signed or drafted that I said, well, dang, I don't see the vision for this particular player. I don't see how he's going to fit. All of them, 100% of them.
Well, there was a couple you had to look up, right?
Who was that?
Well, neither one of us before they had taken him had watched Brandon Jones.
Oh yeah, Brandon Jones. Well, yeah, I'm talking about after the draft and after.
Okay.
I'm talking about after. So I can see the vision in the role that each player that they selected. I can easily see the vision for those players. So again, I don't pay too much attention to these off-season rankings, bro, and post-draft rankings and all that. No, what's encouraging from this team or from this?
Well, the best places to go are Dolphin-centric places, not actual places that cover every single team, right?
Exactly. So, but again, like I said, man, it's encouraging moving forward, bro. They have a scheme, they have a role for every player, they have a vision for every player, and each player that they selected in free agency in the draft, they're fits. They're fits. You can see the how these players are going to be deployed. So that's really encouraging. Now you remember, what we've gone through the last 10, 15 years with your Joe Philbins and your Adam Gases of the world.
Yeah,
we see that was a direct contrast to this past offseason, how they handle free agency and draft. Direct contrast.
No, I agree.
And we saw how that old approach worked. How that worked out for us.
No, I agree.
So,
bro, the Touchdown Wire on USA Today, they did basically the 11th thinnest rosters in the NFL, and the Miami Dolphins ended up actually on the list at number 7. And one of the things we've been praising them for is the depth that they've added, especially to the draft. But they say basically they want to say two things can be true. The Miami Dolphins had a great offseason, and the Miami Dolphins still have a ton of roster. The Miami Dolphins didn't have a great offseason. They enjoyed a ton of salary cap space, spent a ton of it, added players such as Byron Joe, Shaq Lawson, Kyle Van Noy, and Eric Flowers. They entered the draft with a ton of draft capital and added 3 first-round picks. Some of their later-round picks, such as Raekwon Davis, Curtis Weaver, and Jason Strowbridge, have a chance to be impact players as rookies. But these moves speak to the weaknesses of the roster entering the 2020 offseason. There were needs all over the field for the Dolphins, and while they did a great job of addressing them and might be more competitive than people think in 2020, the laundry list of needs this offseason and massive amount of cap and draft capital spent addressing them speaks to the lack of depth and talent on the roster, which makes the job Brian Flores did with this team a year ago that more impressive. So it was kind of, they critiqued us, but they praised us at the same time. They just said, yeah, we added all this great talent, and it's going to make us have a better season than people believe, but they believe it's the depth behind all these players we've added through the draft and through the offseason. That's going to be our Achilles heel. Goes without saying, they obviously mean injuries or anything to that extent, right?
Well, I mean, the depth behind the players that we acquired, that got us 5 wins, and it could have easily gotten us 2 more wins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, wow. Then, I mean, I think we're more, to be honest with you, especially on the defensive end, I think we're one of the more deeper teams in the entire NFL, let alone not just the AFC or AFC East.
Yeah, I think where we're thin at is the offensive line.
Offensive line because of the uncertainty.
And safety.
Yeah, safety as well. But even safety, I mean, again, like I said,
Okay, free safety. Let me be more specific.
Yeah, free safety. I would say if you're going to nitpick, free safety.
Yeah.
But I'll give them – I'm in agreement as far as the uncertainty of the offensive line. I get the players that we had, the offensive line that we threw out there last year was the worst in the 100-plus year history of the NFL. So I can somewhat agree with that. But everywhere else, man, I think we're deep at – I think we're not necessarily deep, but we're not thin at wide receiver. I think we have enough talent at wide receiver.
Yeah, we're okay at wide receiver.
If you want to nitpick at tight end, maybe, because there's a lot of uncertainty behind Mike.
Yeah, that's one of those positions where if Gesicki gets hurt, you lose kind of that weapon, right? Yeah.
I agree. I can somewhat see that, but offensive line and safety, I mean, other than that, bro, I think we're deep at quarterback, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Deep at there's a surplus of talent at surplus of depth at linebacker, defensive line. So
Corner especially.
corner especially
Stack
stack that corner. So
yeah, I don't know what they're on right now.
I have no idea, bro. I have no idea. I think this is just another situation where they're not, we're gonna have to earn that national praise, bro. They don't want to give it up.
No, it's crazy because it's such
They don't want to give it up, bro.
It's such a two-sided coin because they do with Tua, but they don't with anything else.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's such a two-sided coin, bro.
But I agree. There's a lot of uncertainty up front, definitely.
Oh, the offensive line is one of the reasons. I'm not going to speak for you, but that's another reason besides the fact that I believe Ryan Fitzpatrick has earned the right because of his time spent with Chan Gailey, the 5 years in the systems between Buffalo and New York, and his last 6 games last year to end the season, winning 5 out of those 6. I think he's earned the right to start day one. I think he's the most comfortable. He's the best call. But besides that, the other thing that scares me is the offensive line. I want to wait till I see what we have with this offensive line before I commit to starting Tua and riding him out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, hang on 1 second, Reason. Give me 1 sec, bro.
So, guys, what's going on in the comments before we get into everything else? Let me know how everyone's day, how everyone's weekend go. I see Jeff Premont's here. J Love T. What's going on? Let's see who else is at it because I haven't been actually keeping up with the comments. Dolphin 1244. What's going on, brother? What we got here? Troy Hicks. What's going on? Troy Ortiz. What's goody, homie? WDW71. Tony T. Richard Grimaldi. What's good, guys? Clemente. I see you. Steady out here too, brother. Thanks for the continued support, man. Appreciate you. J-Love, you're not allowed to donate because we haven't hit 1,000 subscribers away. We're about 96 subscribers away from hitting 1,000. Once you hit 1,000, you can open up the super chat. Therefore, people can donate straight through YouTube. Until then, donations can be made. If you'd like to donate to the channel, paypal.me/Finside. That is the best way and only way right now because we don't have Cash App or anything like that either. And until we do, that's the best way for you to donate.
Sorry about that, homie. Can you hear me?
No worries. Yeah, I can hear you, bro.
Okay.
What's good, KA? Yo, enjoy a couple of those brews, bro. Shake Money got the hangover. Sunglasses from Advil last night with Madville. But yeah, bro. So let's get into Stephen Ross because he made a donation. The thing is, it is his own nonprofit organization, so people can say what they want to say about that. But at least he's trying to, do something.
Yeah, absolutely.
He said he's going to donate $13 million over the next 4 years to help fight systematic racism through Rise, a nonprofit foundation he started in 2015. So he said, growing up in Detroit, I saw firsthand what racism did to tear apart our community, destroy lives, and further inequality. I started Rise based on the belief that our nation must address the scourge of racism directly to achieve true unity. Now more than ever, our mission and the need for this work is clear. So, I mean, people can say it's a tax write-off. People can say it's his own nonprofit organization, but last I checked, not many of us are donating $13 million and then going and having people write articles openly stating that the $13 million is to fight systematic racism, specifically using that verbiage So
I agree.
what are your
Much respect
thoughts?
to him. Much respect, bro, to Mr. Ross. Because one thing I've noticed, people can say that, oh, it's a tax write-off, and they want to be, negative about, what he's doing. But the thing about Stephen Ross, bro, if you go back and you research his background, he's been one of the few. Well, I'm not going to say few. I don't want to say that, but he's definitely been one of the quote unquote, I guess you could say the billionaire club or whatnot, that have been consistent about, leveling the playing field in this particular issue. He's been consistent throughout since he's purchased the Miami Dolphins, and I've had an opportunity to, conduct a little research on him, and he has been consistent with this particular issue, bro. And to see him again put his money where his mouth is, I don't even see how anyone can formulate anything negative about, seeing what this man has consistently done. I know Kenny Stills came out. I read an article where Kenny Stills was critical of him.
Yeah. Took to
recently,
Twitter. He took to Twitter yesterday, and he basically called him out for it being his own organization and a tax write-off.
Yeah. So, again,
I'll say legitimate media members, like people who aren't even connected to the Dolphins, were asking Kenny, "Hey, Kenny, did you donate $13 million?"
Yeah, no, right. But I'll say this: I judge people by their actions and not what they say. And this dude is all about actions. So again, just look at the structure. He's the first owner, and probably in the history of the NFL, he's got a African American team president. He's got an African American coach. Pretty much all top 4 positions within his organization are blacks. So again, he's about actions. And Kenny Stills, man, he annoys me. Much respect to Kenny Stills and his, his contribution to this particular issue in our society as a whole. But I don't get where he's the consistent shots he takes. Maybe he has an axe to grind because he was cut and he was traded and all of that. I don't know. Or he's still sore at Flores for calling him out last year. I don't know. I have no idea. But Kenny Stills, I don't know why I don't know what it is he has with Steve Ross, bro. But it seems like every chance he gets when this particular issue comes up, involving Stephen Ross, he takes it upon himself to, throw a little shade at him whenever, it appears. But again, this man is about actions, bro. So Kenny Stills and anybody for that matter, you can try to hate on this man and try to cast a negative cloud over what this man is doing, not what he's saying, what this man is doing. Knock yourself out, because at the end of the day, his contribution, I have nothing but respect for him or individuals like him that come from, not only he's a different race, but he's from a different economic status as well. And him trying to make a contribution to level out that playing field, him identifying there's an issue, not just in this country, but the world, but this country, him identifying there's an issue, and he's making a strong contribution to bring a remedy to this particular problem. And again, I think
it's because some athletes, particular Rhino's right. When Kenny found out that Ross was raising money for Trump, a lot of people kind of flipped out on that stuff with him, right?
But see,
whether right or wrong, I'm not getting into politics right now.
Right.
That's why, that's why Kenny went the direction he went. I think that's why he's continued to be hard on Ross, is because of the Trump connection. Whether right or wrong, that's for another day, another debate. I'm just saying that's why, they've let politics enter the Coliseum, basically,
Yeah, well, again, I judge a man by his actions and not his words. And this man has what I've seen based on my research. This is a serious issue to him. It appears. Now again, I don't agree with him.
I 110% agree with you, bro.
Yeah. No. I'm just saying as far as the people like Kenny Stills and whomever, when they cast, try to cast anything negative towards Steve Ross. But this man is about, obviously this is a serious issue to him, and he cares a great deal about it.
Yeah.
And so I just don't understand it, bro. No matter what his political affiliation is, makes no sense to me.
Yeah. Agreed. So the PFF just came out with an interesting article, bro. And PFF's article was they basically ranked every roster 1 to 32. They had the Ravens at 1, and they also listed the biggest strength, the biggest weakness, and what the team's X factor were. To find the Dolphins on this list, you got to go from the Ravens all the way down. All the way down. You got to keep going past the 25 Las Vegas Raiders, past the 27 New York Giants. You got to go down to number 30 to find the Miami Dolphins. And basically, I'll read to everyone what they basically said. So the biggest strength, the Dolphins have 2 of the 3 highest paid cornerbacks in the NFL. If that weren't the strength of their team, they would be in trouble. They basically go on about how Byron Jones might not have many interceptions, but his 83.3 coverage rate since moving to cornerback in 2018 is a top 10 mark at that position. Meanwhile, Xavier Howard's 71.9 passer rating allowed into his coverage from 2016 to 2018 ranked 11th amongst 106 cornerbacks to be targeted at least 100 times. Adding a talent such as Noah Igbinoghene to the group only strengthens it. Biggest weakness. Miami's offensive line might be improved over last season, but that's not saying much. The unit allowed pressure in 2.5 seconds or less on 33% of its 2019 dropbacks, 5 percentage points higher than any other team. The group's run blocking grade was the worst in the NFL as well. Adding 2 rookies who look to be projects and 2 starters on the interior, with just 1 starting season of average play apiece at their position, isn't going to completely wipe away those problems. Their X factor that they've identified for 2020 is Preston Williams was the Dolphins' leading receiver before going down with an injury in Week 9. More receptions and receiving yards than Devontae Parker. Williams' 10 contested catches over those 9 weeks were a top 10 mark in the NFL. If he can build on his rookie season and Parker continues at the pace he set toward the end of the 2019 season, Miami's receiver room could be in decent shape.
Man. Again, that's why I don't take PFF's, word. I don't take their evaluations as gospel for the most part. But wow.
I mean, they trashed that offensive line.
Wow. And I'm not going
to be fair, the players who are there from last year deserve
right. I was going to say
they just got from him.
I'm going to take my fanboy hat off, and that is a fair evaluation as far as the offensive line is concerned. I think we got better. We talked about this privately. I think Eric Flowers, considering what we had last year, I think the 2 positions that we can point to on paper and say that those were immediate upgrades. Obviously, it's left guard with Eric Flowers and at center with Ted Karras. The question is, how much better are they going to be than what we had last year? So it's that's a fair evaluation as far as the offensive line is concerned. But again, I'm taking my fanboy hat off, and I'm somewhat of in agreement because there's a lot of uncertainty. There's 2 rookies that we drafted that are projected to play a lot of snaps this year. And again, you're high on Robert Hunt. You might not be on high as Austin Jackson as I am, but they're still rookies. And there's going to be a steep learning curve like there is for any rookie making the transition to the NFL. So that's somewhat fair, I just don't see where I just don't get the other evaluation with our team overall, bro. I just don't get it. I mean, we won 5 games.
What you got to do too is like, okay, here you go. What you also have to do is, I mean, we did this with Devontae Parker, right? And this is what people do to make the case about Devontae Parker making the making the Pro Bowl, right? What they want to do is they want to take the last half of the season. So this is what I want you to do. If you want to see what this team was, I want to see what their defensive rankings and their offensive rankings were for the last 6 weeks.
Oh, exactly.
Go give me the last 6 weeks of the season when you started some kind of semblance of an offense coming together. Devontae Parker was already doing things. The defense, Nick Needham was getting better game by game. Near the back half of those 6 games, Van Ginkel came in and he started making impact plays. Guys were returning from injury. That happened in the preseason and at the beginning of the season, and they were coming back and they were doing stuff. So give me where they were ranked. If you give me, I guarantee, if you line up the stats and the rankings of the last 6 weeks, it's going to line up and tell the story of those 5 wins.
I agree. And I think I forget who it was that was on our streams some weeks back. I think it was Sharif that had brought that. He brought this exact same he talked about this. I think it was Sharif. Sharif, if you're in the comment section, speak up. I think it was you that brought this up about the second half of the season, how much better the offensive line had played. I think it was Sharif. I'm almost certain this was him, but yeah, I agree with that 100%, bro. 100%. But I don't think that they're taking that into account. They're just
like you have to listen. Literally, last year, you have to look at it. Literally, last year for the Dolphins, you can't just say, "Oh, they got 5 wins." Stats don't mean anything. You got to look at it, and you got to look at it in the perspective of you basically got to split that season in half because stats and analytics are going to tell the story of how bad they were in the first half, but then the stats and analytics are going to tell you how good they were in the second half. But then when you blend those together overall, that's where you get your mishmash of it's not telling the whole story to you.
I agree.
You literally have to split the last season in half.
And they're not taking that into account. They're not. So, but yeah, we all saw that tangible improvement. I mean, I don't have the analytics.
Bro, we beat 2 playoff teams in those last 6 weeks,
and we could have won 2 other games if that referee hadn't called that bogus pass interference call on Nick Needham. We would have swept the Jets. That was another win we had in the bag last year.
At the end of the game.
Another win. Yeah, at the end of the game, because they get the 15-yard penalty and get in field goal range and then kick the field goal and win the game.
And that was right after Van Ginkel made that huge play, right?
Yeah,
where he made that huge sack.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, obviously they're not taking that into account. That's fine. I don't want any unnecessary.
We're sleeping beauty.
Exactly,
bro.
and you know something, I wouldn't have it any other way, bro. I don't want it. I don't want any distractions. That's fine. Let the rest of the world sleep on us. That's fine. That's fine. We don't want anything given to us. We're just going to take it. Period. We're just going to take it. So good. Keep sleeping on us to everyone, everybody, every news outlet that's not giving us a favor.
My problem is, I kind of agree with Larry in the comment section. My problem is when people take stats at face value and don't dive into the analytics and tell their story for the stats chunk by chunk. You can't take it. You got to see, okay, they won 5 of the last 6 games. Okay, besides the film, tell me why they won 5 of the last 6 games. You're going to look into pass rush win rates. what was the run stop rate. You're going to look into all different things that are going to tell you the story in the last 5-6 weeks. And I think people would be, because we were consistently putting up points, if I remember correctly, too. So, you look at what Devontae Parker did in the last 8 weeks. I mean, he outperformed everyone named to the AFC Pro Bowl. Mm-hmm. So that's what makes the season he had last year even more impressive. But only us Dolphin fans know that, because people don't realize, again, you got to take it into chunks. You got to basically look at that receiving core as pre-Preston Williams injury, post-Preston Williams injury.
I agree.
It's 2 different things, man. All of a sudden, as people, it did happen, but I mean, obviously Devontae beat people on with his route running in an open space. But you did see high point, balls start to become more of a factor when Preston Williams was no longer around, because Devontae Parker was just gobbling up more targets. So they had to find ways to get him the ball, right? So you saw the offense itself start to adapt, right, to what they had.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, obviously they're not taking that into account, bro. They're just, and a lot of people just can't get by that horrific first half of the season. I don't blame them. I can't get by it. You know what I mean? I don't even watch. I told y'all I watch every Dolphins game a minimum of 3 times, but I just been focused this year. I've been focusing on the second half of the season in terms of games that I've been watching. But it was horrific, bro. It was ugly, and we had just gotten so far behind the 8 ball. You know, people just can't get that out of their mind, and they're just thinking. They just remember the first half of the season for the most part. But again, that's fine. Let them keep doing what they're doing. That's okay. That's fine.
Yo, shout out to Kyle Almany. Hopefully I said your last name right, brother. Shout out to Kyle Almany for putting through $10, brother. We appreciate you. Thank you very much.
That's great. That's greatly appreciated, homie.
Shout out to everyone who donates and everyone who shows up and shows support and love in the comment section. But absolutely. Yeah, man, it's just we talked about this before, right? Media is just going to continue to sleep on us until we change. It's up to us to change that narrative, right? So
once I think again, that second game of the season, that Buffalo game, that is going to be the tone setter of the season. We are going to send a loud, clear message to the rest of the league that I think we have arrived. I'm telling you, man, I'm high on this year, dude. I just don't see, especially in particular in the AFC East, I just do not, those other 3 teams, I just don't see how they can consistently threaten us. I just don't see it. I don't fear their quarterbacks, and everything starts there. I just don't see it. I do not see it, bro. They're going to have to prove it to me.
Yeah.
So, but that Buffalo game, those 2 first games.
Let's be honest. If the Patriots didn't have Bill Belichick, most people would just be writing that off as a win. But it's just still a sect of people not writing off the Patriots because of Bill Belichick. So, but
I hear you. That's legitimate. And Bill Belichick is arguably the best.
That's the only reason why people are writing him off, bro. That's literally the only reason why. So.
But I look at it from our, how we match. I'm looking from how we match up with every other team, scheme wise, personnel wise. I just think we have the bet. Our strengths, I just don't think they're weak. They can't like the New England game last year. We all know schematic wise how the Patriots do things in terms of their. In terms of their deployment. They're, basically a press man team. And you saw that last game, how we made them change up, their approach on how they defended us because of we had it wasn't only Devontae Parker, no disrespect to him. I mean, he gave it to Stephon Gilmore, but you look at the contribution of Albert Wilson, they had no matchup for him in the slot. You know what I mean? Mike Gesicki was making consistent big plays last year. And I don't consider in the offseason what they had, the players that left, and they didn't, to my knowledge, they didn't make any, and they never do really make any free agent, big time additions. And their draft was it's kind of mediocre in my opinion. I don't see how they improved enough to address that personnel matchup issue. They still have no answer for Devontae Parker. They still have no answer for Albert Wilson, in my opinion. They still have no answer for Mike Gesicki, in my opinion. Again, I just don't see how. I'll go back to what I said initially. The only thing that I'm somewhat concerned about, if I'm nitpicking at this point, is the fact that I still would rather the Dolphins would have gotten a veteran in the middle, a veteran nose tackle in the middle of this defense. Other than that, Buffalo, I just don't see how they can threaten us, and I definitely don't see how the Jets, and we'll get to them shortly, but I just don't see it, man. I just do not see it. So, and you look on defense, the players that we brought in, again, we talked about this before, Reason, privately. The most difficult scheme for quarterbacks to make consistent plays against is always man coverage. If you have the personnel that can cover, and obviously we have that, and are you going to bank on Josh Allen, the most inaccurate quarterback in the NFL? You're going to bank on him making enough plays to beat us 2 times? Good luck with that. Are you banking on Jared?
Guys somehow I hate it, man, because there's always teams in every sport. There's always teams in every sport where this happens, where you always play one person who for some reason he always looks like an all-star with you. It happens in hockey, it happens in baseball, happens in football, and for some reason Josh Allen always looks like a freaking Pro Bowler against bro, and
running the football.
Yeah, I know, bro, and he's not, and it pisses me off, bro. Like, oh my,
running the football. He hasn't been. He's since he's been drafted, he's never destroyed us through the air. He's never done that. So you're talking about the offseason, the personnel that we have in our secondary. Okay, I get they brought in Stephon Diggs. And again, much respect to Stephon Diggs, but people are acting like he's freaking Randy Moss. You know what I mean?
No, it's because people got to realize Stephon Diggs was just there to broaden the throwing radius for Allen.
I understand, but if he can't, and I understand, but if he can't get open, he can't get. There's no throw to be made.
Yeah, but he's a really good route runner, so he will get open a lot of the time.
I don't see him getting open enough, consistently enough against our man coverage. I don't see him getting that kind of separate enough to make enough plays for them to beat us twice. I just don't, even once. I just don't see it. But are you waiting on? You saw how difficult it was for Tom Brady last year, and you saw what kind of players we threw out on the field last year in Foxborough. So
Tom Brady couldn't.
We're all in agreement that we drastically.
His receivers.
He couldn't do.
Absolute, you know what?
And again, and then fast forward to this year, Jarrett Stidham, second-year quarterback with the exact same receiving core that Tom Brady had last year. You saw the difficulty he had last year. You banking on Jarrett Stidham? Good luck with that one. Sam Darnold as well. Okay, Sam Darnold might be the better out of those three quarterbacks, but what does he have on the outside in terms of weaponry on the outside that can consistently threaten us? I'll wait.
Hold on a second.
I don't think so. I just don't see it.
We got
again, we have to. Everything has to.
Hold on a second. We got a $10 donation from Anthony. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you very much. We got a $62 donation.
Really appreciate it, bro.
We got a $62 donation from Mark Williams. Appreciate you, homie.
Wow, man.
He says for the future Inside the NFL podcast. Appreciate you, homie.
Man,
anyway, continue on,
that's
sir.
great. That's greatly appreciated, bro. But yeah, in terms of the AFC East, I just don't see. And again, we have the most stability at quarterback. To be honest with you, we have the best quarterback in the AFC. We have the best quarterback, in my opinion. We have the most physically talented quarterback in the AFC East. So I don't see it. Again, everything has to come together. I'm talking about just purely on. I'm just talking about on paper, how we look on paper. They have to get out there on the field and prove it. But I just do not see it adding up at the end of the day. I see us winning the AFC East this year. I know I might have my fanboy hat on big time right now, but I'm just telling you, I love how we match up with everyone else. I love it. Only concern is that run. Well, establishing a running game in that that run defense. But I just don't see it, homie. Just don't. Man, all of the contributions or donations, man, it's just, we can't thank y'all enough out there. It's greatly, greatly appreciated.
I'm just trying to see something here for a sec.
What do y'all think?
I mean, he kind of lit us up in week 11.
Who was that?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen did?
Yeah. 21 of 33 for 256, 3 touchdowns, no picks.
Yeah, they blew us out that game.
But yeah, I get what you're saying, because earlier in the season, 16 of 26 for 2 touchdowns and no picks, 200 yards. Nothing crazy, but it's the lack of it's crazy. We can't, for some reason, we can't turn him into the turnover machine that I know he's capable of being. You know what I mean? That's what's That's what's the frustrating thing about him. We couldn't pressure him enough to start creating turnovers by forcing him to make bad throws instead of we were letting him move around outside the pocket, run with it, do whatever he wanted, man. So we didn't make him feel – our problem was we didn't make Josh Allen feel uncomfortable. That was our problem. He felt comfortable way too much and way too often. And that's what I'm hoping this new defense does is, because, you saw even one thing, you never saw it much because I believe there's one season or 2 seasons Tom Brady had where he had under 10 sacks because pretty sure there's one season he had where he only had 8 sacks. But one thing as Dolphin fans, we know how could we beat them? How did we always beat the Patriots? We always managed somehow, some way, miracle game aside, we always found a way to make him feel uncomfortable. Going back to Jason Taylor, et cetera, right?
His name is Cam Wade.
Yeah, His
name is Cameron Wade.
We could always make him feel uncomfortable. That show that, it's obvious, basic, but, if that shakes down even the greats, what's it going to do to someone with accuracy issues and sometimes brain farts like Josh Allen? And that's the problem. He was comfortable from the first snap on, and his misses and his inaccuracies were on him, not on us. And that's what's even more scary, that if we could force him to create brain farts, it would be even more of a disaster for him. And that's where the turnovers will start, bro.
Well, I think look who he's throwing against last. Nick Needham was the number 1 guy last year. Okay. Yeah. We saw the first game how well Needham matched up with John Brown. But okay, again, you have hopefully Xavier Howard is healthy for an entire, at least a good portion of the season. And then you add Byron Jones, and then obviously Noah Igbenogany, and then Nick Needham as well. And you look how we'll be able to match up with their receiving core. Again, Nick Needham played extremely well against John Brown last year. And John Brown is one of the fastest, more shiftier receivers in the league. He's one of the better receivers in the league as well. He's not one of the best, but, he's an ascending player. And Stephon Diggs is good. He's a good player. But is he does he have like a Terrell Owens or Randy Moss type impact over games? No, he's not that kind of player. He's not that type of athlete. But I just like how we match up with their offense. I love it. And again, the windows are going to be in theory, the windows should be smaller. And the additions that we brought in up front, the pass rush should be improved. So the only concern I have is establishing a running game, enough of a running game. And we don't have to be the Tennessee Titans. Just 3.5 yards a carry. That's light years ahead of where we were last year. And 3.5 yards a carry, that's like, 25th, 26th, 22nd in the league in terms of average. And if we get to that point, that's going to be, that's really all in my opinion, that's with the defense that we have at our disposal now, because we're going to force teams to consistent 3 and out. So our offense will get more possessions. So with the weaponry we have on the outside, the Bill Fitzpatrick, hopefully, and I'm fully anticipating this, we'll see growth in his game. I just don't see it. I love how we match up with every other team in the AFC.
They do have you know what? I will say they do have, you got Stephon Diggs who runs great routes. He's got that great catch radius that I always talk about. You got John Brown, another decent route runner who can also take the top off as a deep threat. And you got Cole Beasley, who even Dante Colinelli talked about. He's a great slot receiver, and I believe DraftKings FanDuel picked it up. He's a good possession receiver as well.
But again, is he
enough? If he's going to get the ball to him, that's all.
So you're going to bank on, because Stephon Diggs will be taken out. John Brown will be taken out of the equation. So you're gonna hitch your wagon to Cole Beasley to make enough plays for them to beat us twice this year.
Well, I think they're also.
Good luck with that.
I think you're also going to have to respect the running game. I don't think you're going to be able to.
That's my biggest concern. If they control the running game,
they have a great backfield with Devin Singletary and Zach Moss. Zach Moss led the nation in broken tackles. So when you actually get into the numbers of his broken tackles, they're freaking staggering. Guys, go back to my running back big board. I talk about Zach Moss. I have a pretty in-depth analysis about Zach Moss. When you watch the tape, buddy, that guy was a human pinball, bro. Like, so I think that's going to be the factor. If that backfield stays healthy, you're going to have to respect it. And so it's, again, bro, I told you, I said this from the beginning, we had this, I believe it was with Dante or someone else. What did I say, bro? I said, no one can fault the Bills because they've done everything in their power, receiver, offensive line, running back, to put him in a position to be successful. Defense good enough to put you in good field position.
I agree.
So they've done enough now on Josh Allen.
I agree.
Here for both Josh Allen and Sam Darnold.
I agree.
Where they get no more free passes, bro. And I think Sam Darnold deserves more free passes than Josh Allen because Sam Darnold hasn't even had half of what Josh Allen has had.
I agree.
Okay.
Even from a coaching perspective,
you put Sam Darnold, you flip their situations, brother. You flip Sam Darnold and Josh Allen situations.
We might be having a different conversation.
Dolphin fans ain't disrespecting Sam Darnold the way they disrespect Sam Darnold, bro.
I agree.
The only reason I know we all hate Adam Gase, but he's the only man you can thank as to why we can hate on Sam Darnold because, you even go back to last year, we talked about it with Dante. You look about how, the pressure was coming and he wasn't doing underneath. He wasn't doing mesh routes, little short dig routes, in routes, drag routes, slants. He wasn't putting underneath routes. The reason why he was getting killed. He's having such bad protection. But when you look at what the plays they were running, there were longer routes that took time to develop, and you need a good offensive line to do that. And he wasn't helping. So that's basically telling you he wasn't even competent enough until I believe it was like week 12 or week 13 when you started seeing those underneath routes start coming basically on every down because he finally realized, hey, my guy's getting killed out there. Maybe I should give him some bailout routes. So again, and what happened, in the last 4 or 5 games of Sam Darnold last season, ever since that game where he was seeing ghosts, you started seeing Sam Darnold look better and better week by week, et cetera, But now they just basically, they took away Robbie Anderson. They've done some decent things to their offensive line. They've got Denzel Mims. They've got a decent backfield. But, really, have they really put a lot around for him to succeed? I believe I look at the Dolphins, and I think already the Dolphins are doing more to set up a guy who hasn't even touched the field, that being Tua Tagovailoa, to be more successful from the get-go. So that just I definitely think Darnold is he's a much better prospect than what Josh Allen is, especially in terms of passing, from a passing perspective. But Darnold is a quality. I think given the proper support around him, Darnold can be a quality player at that position. So let's just hope they don't fire Adam Gase and they sign him to a 10-year extension or something. Kind of like what the 49ers did with Kyle Shanahan. But Darnold is he's a much more talented player, I think. Shout out to James. I'm gonna say your last name. Sorry if I butchered it. And Shake Money, I saw you. That's why I didn't say your last name. I just stuck to Anthony because I can see how people butcher that last name. Bro, you are a couple letters away from having a porn name. Anyways, James Sumler, what's up? Or Sumler, Sumler, one of the two. What's up, Reason I'm Dolphin fan? Been following you two ever since TD. Love your show. You two guys are very knowledgeable. Been a Dolphin fan since 1971. Shout out, OG. Hey, quick question. Where do you donate? Brother, I'll put it up right now. If you'd like to donate to the channel, paypal.me/Finside. Appreciate you for wanting to show support. And shout out to you, OG.
Absolutely.
1971. You've been around for 30 years.
Wow.
You've been around through all of these painful years. So shout out to you, brother.
Absolutely. That's greatly appreciated, my friend.
So a couple things we talked about this on a couple streams ago, EM, in terms of when I laid out what I would do for fans in terms of how I would have them, the sections and stuff like that. Well, it turns out they are going to put the fans, if they do come in to this stadium, they're going to be farther away from the field like I predicted. But the thing I didn't predict that they're going to be doing is smart. And apparently the NFL will be filling prime seating with ads. So basically, this is, it's going to start. The first 6 to 8 roads are going to be tarped off and basically filled with ads, and the NFL teams will be able to sell camera visible signage to local sponsors when the 2020 season plays out. Such ad sales are expected to significantly defray pandemic-related revenue losses in the event some or all fans are not allowed in the stadiums. So this includes on-field suites, bro. So you have, because on-field suites will be off limits to fans this season. So this has basically told you they are ready to play without fans, and they'll just sell that space as ad space to make up for all that lost revenue, which is smart. I mean,
absolutely.
But that shows you the extent they're ready to go to have the season. So, I mean, I don't see a way that this season isn't happening.
Yeah, barring a civil war or something, anything of that magnitude happening, God forbid. They are all systems go with them. They are, they have a plan in place, and they're moving forward. And again, it's encouraging. I'm glad to see it. As long as everybody's health is, nobody's in jeopardy. Nobody's health is in jeopardy. So I'm all for it. I'm glad. Again, like we said earlier, we talked about earlier, this country needs a positive distraction, like like football, basketball, any sport. Baseball's coming back. So yeah, they're doing it. They did their homework. They have a plan in place. They're going to implement that plan, and they're moving forward. And it's I'm glad. It's encouraging for me. Extremely, extremely encouraging for me, bro. So
what do you think? You think it's going to be a point where they end up just going no fans and they sell everything out as ad space?
No, I think they'll have. Obviously they can't pack the house, but I think they'll have fans in the stands. How many? That's gonna. I think Roger Goodell released a memo to each team saying that he'll leave that up to their discretion in terms of how many fans they can have in their arenas, in their stadiums. So, excuse me. I think fans. There will be. They'll allow fans come, but that number, I have no idea how many that'll be. So.
Mm-hmm. All right,
absolutely.
Let's get in before we get into the Jets and Dolphins, bro. A very interesting article from Barry Jackson that's got multiple things we want to talk about. So let's go through them one by one here, because I believe there's like 3 things in this article we want to cover. So the NFL's recommendation last weekend for players to stop working out together temporarily halted some significant work being done by Dolphins offensive linemen. A bunch of them, rookies and veterans, had been getting together regularly on the South Florida field, not only for conditioning, but also to perfect making the correct line calls and beef up on learning the terminology implemented by new offensive line coach Steve Marshall, who was the team's 3rd offensive line coach in the last 11 months. With the transition on the line, Jesse Davis is potentially the only 2019 starter essentially assured of starting in 2020. The offensive linemen are taking very seriously the need to become as cohesive as quickly as possible. New left guard Eric Flowers has been a key component of those sessions, one player said. So,
very encouraging.
Yeah, I mean, what do you come away with?
Very encouraging.
Because as far as personal decisions on the line, here's what we know. The Dolphins are still determining whether second-round pick Robert Hunt is better suited to play guard or right tackle as a rookie. There are mixed views on this. Miami believes he can ultimately be a quality right tackle. There's a good chance Jesse Davis remains at right tackle in 2020, but that could change if Hunt gets a chance at right tackle in camp and is very good there. The impression one player had is that Michael Dieter, besides playing guard, also will be given a chance to compete at center. South Carolina rookie Donnell Stanley also is competing at backup center. Ted Karras obviously will start at center and Flowers at left guard. The Julian Davenport, Austin Jackson battle at left tackle will play out in August. The Dolphins are pleased with how Austin Jackson has learned the system. And also, sticking with the offensive line, two things. Kudos to Georgia rookie offensive lineman Solomon Kinley. He lost 21 pounds since the college football season ended. He was 352 in January, and he's now 331. And another quick note, again with the offensive line, Derval Quiroz Neto, who was added to Miami's practice squad last season through the NFL's International Player Development Program, has been moved from defensive tackle to guard. The Dolphins are pleased how he has picked up the system, but how he plays in training camp obviously will determine his immediate future. So what are your thoughts on what you're hearing about the offensive line right now, bro?
I tell you, man, we were way out ahead that Michael Dieter possibly transitioning to center. We were way out ahead of that a year ago. But that's encouraging because I think at this stage of his career, I think Dieter will be a minimum average. His ceiling will be average as a center. I think his skill set at this stage of his career transitions better to center. So it's good to see that. It's encouraging to see that. Again, I don't think Dieter. I think obviously with the signing of Eric Flowers, he's not going to be our. You're not paying a guy $10 million to be a backup. So obviously Eric Flowers is our starter, and that's encouraging to see him.
I wanted to point out that you can talk about too is, and I forgot to mention it when we're talking about guys. Solomon Kinley, the expectations is that he'll lose another 7 pounds, and they expect him to compete at right guard and back up at left guard. Anyways, continue on.
Yeah. But yeah, obviously, that's very encouraging to hear. Eric Flowers is displaying, like leadership qualities. That's encouraging to see that he's seen. It appears that he's stepping up and seems to be yeah, exactly. And that's very encouraging to see. But Dieter, I really want to see Dieter work out, bro. I really do, because I think Dieter is a talented player. I just think he just doesn't have the functional strength at this point in his career to play on the interior in a power. Well, I would say at either right guard or left guard to successfully transition to that power gap scheme. And I think center is his ideal position at this point. But yeah, Robert Hunt. I think there's a little uncertainty on what position that he would better transition to. Me personally, I would just play him at guard, to be honest with you, because Jesse Davis, like you talked about the second half of the year, the improvement we saw in our offensive line. Jesse Davis was on that offensive line as well. So we're not taking into account, I think us as a fan base, we're not necessarily taking it into account enough of these players that we had last year getting better. When we saw them the second half of the season, we saw the tangible improvement. So us and I'm guilty of it as well, we're not taking that into account. Players improve every year. That's what they do. So,
but realistically, out of last year, the only two that looked like they had a beyond average to maybe an above average ceiling were Dieter and Jesse Davis at times. I guess Shaq Calhoun a few times flashed it, but overall, you know what I mean? Like I would say,
right.
Last year's bunch, Julian Davenport, okay, I see you as a backup. Dieter and Jesse Davis, I could see as one day when they find their groove because of the traits they have, they could be viable starters. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like I'll use that word. So,
and I'll say this again. I know our fan base gets tired of hearing it, but the New England Patriots built a 20-year dynasty off, marginal, good to very good players.
No, they did was they found your marginal. They found your marginal to good players who were what, EM? Great scheme fits.
Exactly.
That's what made those marginal players look great. Like you saw, we have talked about it today, guys. Eric Flower, me and him talked about it privately. I think it was today or yesterday. Eric Flower struggled at left tackle. But who else struggled at left tackle when he went to New York? Nate Solder. So there's got to be a point where you also got to question.
He did.
You got to question the coaching, not just the player, but the coaching. So, like, you look at these two guys, right? I mean, they clearly went to teams that schematically weren't a perfect fit for them.
Right. So and I think even that could have stunted their growth.
Even when you're playing at your natural position, you're out of position, kind of. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
And look, reason that could have contributed. That could have stunted their growth early on, bro. Mm-hmm. It could have. So kudos to Flores for recognizing it. It's a reason why why they're high on. We might not see it now, but it's a reason why they made that investment, that future investment in Jesse Davis. If agree, whether you agree with it or not, they see something in him. So again, total different scheme they're implementing this year. We could see him take another step. And again, I really feel like I said, I might be a little higher on Jesse Davis than our fan base is, but if you look at his profile, he's a 325 to 330, big, physical, strong player. Not necessarily
a right guard.
Yeah, I think he's
if Robert Hunt works out right tackle, it's the ideal situation because then we have our right guards figured out. You know what I mean?
Like, I would say his natural position is a guard. Yeah. But he might be a little better playing in space than what Robert Hunt is. I would say he has the advantage because he's been doing it on an NFL level and Robert Hunt hasn't. So again, we would have to see how that works out in training camp. But I think, but we're not taking into account enough. I think as a fan base, these players could possibly take a significant leap in a different scheme next year, this year. So, but yeah, man, I'd be lying to you if I said I was totally comfortable with the situation up front. There's definitely a level of uncertainty, but I think we did get better at those two spots, center and left guard. The only question I have with this is how much better, are we? But the overall athleticism alone had gotten significantly better as well with Austin Jackson, with Robert Hunt, with Solomon Kinley. I mean, just the overall strength of the offensive line as well has gotten better. So we'll just see how that translates to the field. But yeah.
The Dolphins are having second year. This is the same article. There's a lot of good tidbits we're going to go over here, guys. The Dolphins are having second year. A guy we've mentioned multiple times, people keep forgetting about. The Dolphins are having second year receiver Gary Jennings learn the slot, where he had great success at West Virginia, as the article states, and the boundary receiver positions. The thinking, if he makes a team, is to create mismatches by using the 6'1" Jennings on smaller, slower players. So he will likely compete with Allen Hurns and Isaiah Ford, among others, for a fifth or a sixth receiver job. And continuing on here, Tagovailoa hasn't worked out with the Dolphins' top receivers during his first 2 weeks in Miami, but he has spent time with Gary Jennings. A couple of the team's other young receivers, undrafted rookies Matt Cole and Kirk Merritt, which we've reported before here on the show, have been doing their Zoom sessions outside of South Florida, but have been in touch with the Dolphins rookie quarterback. And sticking with the receiver room a little bit, quick stuff, there's talk that the practice squad could go from 10 to 16 players, which could help the chances of players such as Merritt and Cole, two skilled receiver prospects. Problem I see with that is that they're going to get snatched off of your practice squad. Yeah. So also sticking with that, though, Miami is listing rookie fifth-round pick Curtis Weaver as a defensive end on its roster. This shouldn't be news to you guys because we told you this is what he's going to be. He is being trained in a linebacker edge role. PFF rated him fifth best pass rusher in college football last season. His 59 pressures were ninth in the country. He's lost some weight in the move from end to linebacker. He has the potential to be a fifth-round steal, which, again, we all already know.
Man, wow, that's interesting to hear about Gary Jennings and Tua, already making that connection.
Even with the younger guys like Merritt and Cole are,
absolutely,
with them, right?
Absolutely. I wonder why he hadn't worked out with the top guys, Parker and Albert Wilson yet. I wonder what's the story behind that. It's probably nothing, but But yeah, that's that's good to see too. That's definitely the smart play if you're Gary Jennings.
Yeah.
But that's another depth. That's another player, bro, that we have that we could see, make a significant contribution this year. He's a talented player. He has good size, very good speed. We didn't see him at all last year because he was on. I think he was on IR last year. So that's another man. That wide receiver room is extremely crowded, bro.
Yeah, I just wanted to react to Rhino here because he says, I believe you can take 2 players out of a practice squad and other teams can't snatch them anymore. Yeah, that's what it is. But you can only do it for basic. And then they're back on your practice squad Monday morning. So you basically
and I was going to say
squad after Friday, and then on Monday they have to be back on the team. So Monday another team could come in and be like, "Doop, there you go." So that's
I wish the NFL would offer, offer more teams from a situation where they can protect those practice squad players, more. At least have like 3 of them that you can designate as like, exclusive right guys, and everybody else can be fair game.
Yeah.
I wish they would implement, a system like that. Hopefully that's something they might implement in the future. But yeah, that's good to see. Good to hear.
So let's get into the comparison about whether the Dolphins are better than the Jets, bro. Because we went position by position like how we did last time when we went through this. We'll be doing this with the Bills, but last time when we did this with the Patriots, let's do this with the Jets right now. So this is how we lined it up, bro. On offense, we gave obviously Tua and Fitzpatrick. We're probably going to give this over everyone. Shouldn't be a secret, but people might be surprised at halfback. And I think the reason why we did this, with our running back situation is we know Braden Howard are a 1-2 punch. When you look beyond Le'Veon Bell, you got LaMichael Perrine from Florida, and you also have Frank Gore. When you look beyond already our first 2 guys, so there's already depth in the starting role. You got Patrick Laird, you got Myles Gaskin, you got the last string of hope or faith you want to call Kalen Ballage that EM holds on to every time his name comes up. So, our depth at that position is better, I would say. I think Le'Veon is the best of the group, but I don't think right now with how Adam Gase deploys him, he's good enough alone to be better than our whole group of running backs. I don't think so at all.
And I don't necessarily think Le'Veon Bell is the player that he was 2-3 years ago.
Yeah. I think it's just because I was being deployed. This is a guy that gets the ball around 300 times a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was gonna say it might be how they deployed him. It could be, but I don't necessarily see that. I don't think he's as explosive as he has been. I would say the last 2-3 years. But hopefully he's not. Hopefully he is on a decline. But even we can agree on this. That's not the Le'Veon Bell, the 80 plus catch, 1,300, 1,400 yard back that we saw consistently in Pittsburgh. We can agree on that. So when you're comparing him to Jordan Howard, I think they're comparable, to be honest with you, in terms of where they are at in their careers at this point.
I think it's more so just how he's deployed. I think it's Gase doesn't know how to use him, bro. I mean, I don't know how to say it nicer or friendlier. Gase isn't that smart. So when you look at the wide receivers, though, bro, I mean, we got Devontae. We got all this depth that we think we've added because even Malcolm Perry is listed as a wide receiver. Preston, Jakeem, Albert Wilson, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, really, these guys are banking on Jameson Crowder, whose best years were decent at best, and there were a couple of years ago in Washington. Rashard Perriman, drafted by the Baltimore Ravens, never really worked out to what they thought he could be. And now they've drafted a decent guy who I like Denzel means, but I think that's a lot for a rookie to carry that load. I look at their wide receiver room, Josh Doxson, I'm not a fan of their wide receiver room, bro. And I look at ours and I think, Devontae Parker alone, Preston Williams alone, you can even argue Albert Wilson. Those are when you put both teams together, those are probably the three best receivers of the whole group. So, I don't think that's even a question. I don't think that's even a debate. Same thing with tight end, bro. Mm-hmm. Gesicki has shown a pretty high ceiling. He's been able to show soft hands. He's marginally improved at blocking year by year. We got Durham Smythe. He had a down year last year, but normally before last year, he was known as a pretty decent blocker. But then, their best guy is who? Chris Herndon, and he can't even stay healthy, bro. Ryan Griffin?
I agree.
Come on, bro.
I agree.
So, I don't even think, again, like receiver, I don't think that – but here's where it gets interesting. We do believe McGovern, Van Rotten have made their interior defensive line better than what we have right now because McGovern is better than Karras.
You mean offensive line?
Offensive line, sorry, the interior offensive line. The tackles, Mekhi Becton, and even though Fant wasn't that great in Seattle, at least they know who their right tackle is, and he was better than what Jesse Davis was last year. So we gave them a slight edge at tackle and a slight edge at interior defensive line because really the only guy we have proven on the interior right now that we know of is Eric Flowers because Ted Karras, like I said, isn't really better than McGovern. We both agreed from Denver. He was solid. So, yeah, we gave him a slight edge there. But overall, bro, when you look at how this offensive stacks up team by team, what are your thoughts, bro?
I told you. I think we, offensively, at the skill position, our running backs, wide receiver, tight end, quarterback. I'm telling you, I think we're head and shoulders above everybody else in the AFC East, bro.
I don't think we're head and shoulders above the Buffalo Bills at running back and receiver.
Well,
I think we're head and shoulders.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
The Patriots and the Jets are for sure.
I'll give you that. But I'll give you that. But overall, we're head and shoulders above everybody else. But anyway, we'll continue that discussion. But but the Jets, we're head and shoulders above them. We're better. And again, we're the only really at the quarterback position. There's a level of uncertainty with every other team. You don't know what you're getting with Stidham. Josh Allen is the most inaccurate quarterback in the National Football League. The jury is still out on Sam Darnold. We're the only team that has stability. All of a sudden you look up in 2020, we're the only team we have the most stability at that position. We have the best player. We have the most physically gifted player in Tua, in Ryan Fitzpatrick. So, it's not even open for debate with the Jets, bro. I just think this is on paper. They have to get out on the field and prove it. But I just think we're just better. Flat out, overall, we're better than the Jets. Clearly. It's no debate.
So when we move over to the other side of the ball, it's kind of the same story as it was with the Patriots, but it's a little bit different in terms of the interior defensive line for the Jets is quite good when you add in Quinnen Williams, when you add in Fatukasi, when you add in Steve McLendon. These guys are proven. They produced last year. They did pretty well. With our interior, we're banking on Christian Wilkins taking a leap, Devon Codshaw continuing to grow, and then we're banking on really some rookies helping out in the interior right now. So that's why we have the Jets with a slight edge, because not only are their guys kind of proven on the interior, but they've also produced You know what I mean, on that interior. So but when you go to that defensive edge, bro, ours is basically because of the 3-4 scheme. Our edge is basically our outside linebackers, and when you compare who we're going to be lining up out there to guys like who their edges are in their scheme, or Jordan Jenkins, Terrell Basham, Kyle Phillips. I mean, it's not even close, brother.
Unproven guys.
It's not even close, bro. It's not even close what we're going to be doing on the outside there. Again, I don't even know what else to say other than it's not even close. It's that bad. When you go to the linebacker core, you think of CJ Mosley and you think, okay, you might got something there. But the problem is when you get past CJ Mosley, bro, we're talking about former Dolphin Neville Hewitt. We're talking about Blake Cashman. We're talking about James Burgess. Patrick Onwuasor. Avery Williamson. There's not a ton of talent beyond behind CJ Mosley. Whereas, Dolphin fans, we keep talking about, let's just stick to the middle here. Raekwon McMillan, Van Noy, we think is going to be deployed there. Jerome Baker, Vince Beagle. You know what I mean? Gruger Hill. There's a ton of talent that we're like, there's so many people that we can fit in there that are just athleticism alone is off the charts. So, yeah, man, again, once you get past that big, sexy name, it's really not much to shake a stick at, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see, I mean, CJ Mosley is a good player, but, I think in terms of the comparison, he and Calvin Orr pretty much. Well, even I think at this point, Calvin Orr is a more versatile player than what CJ Mosley is. But I mean, it's the overall depth that we have just on the interior alone is, man, it's laughable that we're even having this conversation, bro. I mean, really, so many unproven guys on the Jets, and we do have, we have Calvin Orr. I think Raekwon McMillan is going to be a significant contributor this year. I think we're going to see a step up in his game. I don't think Jerome Baker, obviously, I've stated that many times. I don't think Jerome Baker is in the long-term plans of this defense. But, you look at your Vince Beagles. I think Andrew Van Ginkel is going to be playing more off the ball on the interior this year. Your Gruber Hills, your Landon Roberts of the world. Yeah, it's laughable. It's not even. It's not even close.
And it's kind of like that when you get to corner too, because we talked about this earlier when we went through position by position. We actually did this list yesterday, and we looked at corner and we're like, okay, Brian Poole, stud, but he's basically, EM said, yeah, but EM basically made me look up how many games he played in the slot, and every game was in the slot. When you look at his snaps, he had almost 700 snaps in the slot last year. So he was great last year in the slot, though. You can't take it away. He was fantastic in the slot last year. But again, once you get past that, they made a good pick. Bryce Hall from Virginia. Love the pick. A guy on the other platform. Y'all can go back months and months and months ago. Another guy I brought up. And ball game, me and him had a discussion on the platform about Bryce Hall out of Virginia. He's great. He kind of fell off a little bit. They also added, people might forget, they also added Lamar Jackson from Nebraska as a UDFA. He was actually one of the higher paid UDFAs. So again, they've added 2 rookies to try and kind of help out there. But I mean, you look past Brian Poole, you look at the guys who performed last year, and Nate Hairston, not very good. Pierre Desir, not very good. Blasan Austin, not very good. Arthur Mollett, not very good. So they're basically banking on Brian Poole holding down that slot and Bryce Hall and Lamar Jackson turning into viable corners.
Good luck.
Yeah. Bryce Hall is very good. I'm not a huge Lamar Jackson guy. I watched quite a bit of tape on him, and I saw him get exposed a lot. Bryce Hall is good. He just was battling durability issues.
Yeah.
But when you look at Byron Jones, Xavier Howard, Noah Benogany, our boy Nick Needham, who we think has Pro Bowl
Cordrea Tankersley,
bro. Like, it's not even close, bro. Like, the depth, they get run out of the room, bro. Like,
and the just the overall athleticism in our from the cornerback position is crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
first round talents all up and down the depth chart. I mean, if we go into if Tankersley winds up making this roster, and he winds up being our fifth or sixth defensive back on the depth chart, that is crazy depth. This because Tankersley, the year he came out, he was a first round talent. But he just, he had durability issues and he slid to the third round. But it wasn't because of his talent. I mean, he's a first round talent all day. Mm-hmm. So if he comes back healthy and he can regain his pre-injury form in terms of, he gets that, elite athleticism back. If he comes in, we go into the season and he's our fifth or sixth cornerback on a depth chart, bro. Wow, I am loving our chances, dude. I am loving it. So, yeah, it's another position that's even laughable to even be sitting up here having this conversation about. But
now one position they are pretty good at
is safety.
Is safety, because not only do they have Jamal Adams and Marcus May, who both graded out in the top 20 last year, but they also went out and drafted Ashton Davis. So they've kind of set themselves up at the safety position to be successful, even if they lose a guy like Jamal Adams, man. I mean, even though that is going to be hard to replace, they've started to set that up and kind of, even their backups a stud. All these people in the chat and watching out there, you all know how much we loved Ashton Davis in the pre-draft process. So, we got Eric Rowe, and then besides that, if we're fielding Bobby McCain, yeah, they got us beat at safety. And then when you go to special teams, just with the punter and the kicker guys, we gave it to Jason Sanders and Matt Hack. Not a huge fan of Brett Mayer from Dallas, who is now the kicker in New York. And I am, they got Brandon Mann, the punter. He's a rookie. So, again, we'll see how that one turns out. But right now, when you put it up, we went position by position, we went player by player. And when you put it up, we can put this up comfortably and say, I mean, that looks like, when you add in the fact that, we said with the Patriots, it looked a little obviously lopsided in the Dolphins, but the one factor was Belichick. When you add in the fact that it looks this lopsided on paper in the Dolphins' favor against the Jets, and their coach is Adam Gase, you got to love our chances, brother. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
I agree 100%, bro. But again, I think we just match up extremely well with all these teams in the AFC East this year.
We're gonna find out.
I truly think it's up in the air. It's ours for the taking. It is ours for the taking.
So, brother, we're at about an hour and 40 minutes. I got some things. I got some things I got to do. I want to get out of here and spend some time with the wife. So is there anything else you wanted to add before we get out of here?
No, bro. Again, I just appreciate everybody, all the love and support from everybody, and everybody coming out on their Saturday, spending, hour and a half with us to talk about our team, engage and dialogue about our team. Everything, all the contributions, all the donations is great. We can't emphasize that enough. It's greatly, greatly appreciated. And we just look forward and moving forward. Hopefully, again, we won't have any disruptions with our season, man. I tell you, the season cannot get here fast enough, bro. Oh, man. I'm sitting here. I'm just like, I just can't get here. Madden 21 can't get here fast enough. And definitely the season can't get here fast enough. So, again, we appreciate everybody. And you already know what time it is. Y'all know what it is. You know what it is.
So, guys, I want to thank you all for spending the time. I want to thank everyone who took the time out of their day to hop in the comments, watch live with us. Also, the people who decided to make donations today. Mark, Anthony, Kyle, much love and respect for loving the show enough to donate out of your pocket, man, especially during these crazy times that the world finds it in. I appreciate the love and support, guys. We're going to be back Monday night, as usual. So Monday we'll be going over the Bills. So, guys, tune in for that. And you know what? This is what we'll do. I'll say it right now. So all of y'all know. Monday night, after we do the Bills, I want all of y'all who have been following along with these team comparisons we've been going through, we're going to open it up, have a couple of you guys come on, and we want to hear your thoughts on the overall comparisons. I'll even bring up all three images on the screen to remind everyone, but we want to hear where you guys stand and how we've made these comparisons. So we'll do that Monday night after we go over news, notes, discussion, and then the comparisons. All y'all that stick with us through that stream, by the end of it, we'll open it up, we'll drop the link, and we'll have some of you guys on because we want to hear your overall thoughts on these comparisons that we've made, guys.
It's easy to hide out in the comment section. I want to see y'all. I want to see y'all get on stream and come on. Get on the stream and voice your opinions about the team. All of y'all. Your rhinos of the world. Your DM fans of the world. Your draft kings. I really would love to hear from you, my friend. I'm sure I'm going to disagree with 100%. Of what your vision for the team is, because I know you're gonna bring up that Josh Rosen nonsense, and it's gonna go downhill from there. But everybody, all of y'all, obviously Sharif and Havoc, you already know what it is, homie. All of y'all, Rick a Tick, everybody, we want to see y'all Monday night, baby.
Yeah, everyone, come on Monday night, and I want to hear people. I want y'all to go over, I will bring up every single image, team by team. I'll make it one big blend of the three listings, the three comparisons, the offense, defense, and special teams. And I'll add all three charts, make it one image. And I want to hear all of your guys' thoughts. So keep that in mind. Monday night, after we go through the news discussion and the comparison, we're going to bring some of you guys on. And we want to see some new faces, man. We appreciate the same old guys, come through, whatever, but we want to see some new faces added to that group. And we want to see some of y'all, let's nut up, guys. Let's get on stream. Let's talk. Let's do it. And
it's all about y'all. It's really
Quentin Riddle isn't in the comments right now.
Mm-hmm.
Quint, let me see if you're out there in the comments right now. Because Quint, if you're out in the comments right now, I'll drop the link because I need you to come on before we get out of here, bro. So if you're out there, Quint, I need you to hit the comments right now because I saw you earlier in the comments. Me and you were talking briefly. So I need you to hit me up in the comments right now. I know we're talking email, so I want to see if you're out there, homie. What are you laughing at, bro?
Quinn is always entertaining, bro. That's my dude.
I got an announcement I want to make. Guys. Don't leave the stream yet because I got an announcement.
That's my guy.
I got an announcement. I think he left the stream, but guys, we're gonna set it up. Okay? EM, I want you to pay attention, bro. Because this is for you, homie.
This is funny. This is really funny.
Next Friday night, EM Dolphin fan versus Quint Riddle. Madden 20 live on Pinside.
Oh my God.
Because guys, until the regular season starts, guys, we're gonna do a new Friday segment. And what it's gonna be, guys, EM Dolphin fan versus subscribers. So every Friday night, I want a new subscriber coming on here. I'll bring you on the stream. Y'all can talk. We'll set up the Twitch. And what's going to happen is I'll commentate the game while you two banter and get into it. And on Friday night, it's going to be EM versus subscriber every week. And we even talk to some content creators that are going to come on and play EM as well. So until we get to the regular season, we're going to do this just to have some off-season joy, guys. So
I have an open invitation that's extended to everyone.
So Kills White, in the comment section you want EM Dolphin fan. He said, bro, I'm still waiting for my 1v1 against EM Dolphin fan. So, yo, after Quinn, if you want it, the week after Quinn, in 2 weeks, you can come get it on Friday night. You just got to email me, finsidethenfl@gmail.com, and we'll set this up. And, guys, every Friday night until the regular season starts, you come on NFL and you get that work.
I'm calling everybody. I called Dudley out earlier. I'm on record for issuing that challenge to Dudley Do Wrong. But this right here, this is an open invitation to anybody. Anybody can get it. If you want that work, holla at your boy.
Every Friday night.
Holla at your boy.
Now on, we're going to set up the Twitch every Friday night until the regular season. EM Dolphin fan versus subscribers, guys. So we're going to have topics made up. The thumbnail going to look like Street Fighter over here. Send me a picture versus you. We'll rock it, guys. I'm just playing.
Rhino ball game. He is nowhere to be found. I've been sending invitations for 6 months to ball game. He's continuously ignored my invitations. Ball game is no longer is a possibility. He's just where are you, ball game? Where are you? Holla at your boy. Y'all saw me punish him twice. I don't think he wants anymore.
So guys, again, on Friday night, Quentin Riddle, EM Dolphin fan, and the Fridays after that, guys, email me at finsidethenfl@gmail.com, and I'll put together a queue for EM to line up. I'll put up a waiting list, and we'll start scheduling out all the way till the season starts, because I see a bunch of y'all in there saying y'all want that work. So it's time to whip it real good, guys. So
hey, listen. I know it's totally different when you get them sticks in your hand. It's one thing to talk that nonsense in the comment section and be a keyboard warrior, but once you get them sticks in your hands, and you feel that pressure that I'm bringing, it's a different ball game, baby. It's a different animal.
Bro, this man, once you get the sticks in the hands and feel the pressure, bro, you need to phrasing over here, son. Okay.
Oh my God, bro. Man, dude, really?
Bro,
okay.
Hey, if this was 2001, you'd have to end all those with the no homo, bro, and you know it.
Well, no, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna end it no homo. So absolutely
y'all
not.
Come get that work Friday nights. New thing we've been planning. We're gonna run it. EM Dolphin fan versus subscribers. Quentin Riddle, homie, you're probably watching this back. You know you're up.
This is the first I've heard of this. Really, you've been sitting on this? You didn't even tell me. Oh, okay. I see how you're doing it,
bro. No,
I see how you're doing it.
I was gonna bring him on. And do like a Don King type of like.
I see how you're doing it, y'all. Hey, y'all in the comments. This is the first time I've heard of this. I had no prior knowledge to Quentin Riddle. Reason I hadn't mentioned this at all to me, bro. Oh, okay. I see how. Oh, all right. Okay. It's all good, though. I ain't doing no tripping. I ain't doing no tripping over it.
Guys, and we're going to be having EM training video clips put up as he works out for his match against Quentin Riddle.
Okay.
Vertical from EM. Here it comes, guys. I want to see a 4.40, bro.
That kills YT. Man, he blowing me up, homie. This dude really wanted.
He wanted it. It looks like he's a week 2 competition.
Wow.
And he says if EM Dolphin fan doesn't win any of those games, then he has to buy a Josh Rosen jersey. Incentive.
Wow.
All right.
But like I said, it's all good, man. I think that it'd be good to engage on Madden with with a lot of our subscribers.
Yeah, man.
It'll be a fun time, man.
Y'all can get your news. You can get your news and your discussion, and instead of going into the topic, we'll go into the game. And if time permits, we can do a best 2 out of 3. You know what I mean? And then every Friday night, man, until the season starts, it's going to become a little bit of a tradition here. So hopefully it pops off.
Absolutely,
so guys.
Again, man, we appreciate everybody, man. Everyone appreciate everybody, all the love and support. Again,
agreed.
And Y'all already know what it is.
Thank you guys so much for coming out. So remember, Monday night, we'll be back here. We'll be going over the Bills, Dolphins. We'll be having you guys on. So be sure to hang around. When we drop the link, make sure you click it and hop backstage. And then on Friday, we'll be back on Wednesday, but on Friday, guys, it's going down with the Madden. We want to entertain you guys, and we know how much y'all love the EM and ball game. So we're going to give you hopefully we'll give you EM a ball game one day, but until then, we'll give you EM at his best.
Where are you, ball game? Ball game, where you at, homie? Are you got to be out there somewhere. You can't run forever. You cannot run forever, bro.
Kills YT. I see what your comment you just dropped. Trust me, we've already started talking to people. We're working on something in regards to that as well, bro. So
absolutely,
guys,
that's gonna be a real treat. That's gonna be a real treat.
Appreciate each and every one of you for spending some of your Saturday night. I'm gonna go chill with my wife for a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna go chill with his wife probably for a little bit. We hope y'all chill with your loved ones. Have a happy, safe, and blessed weekend. We'll see all of y'all Monday night. And until then, guys, y'all already know what it is.